Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports Talk with G. Sorry for the delay. I've been sick. This is my flu game podcast. The grind must continue. I've had a couple of demands for the podcast to continue. So here I am, coming off the injured list to provide my scorching hot takes and reactions to 49ers Ravens. So let's get into it. That was just an embarrassing game for the 49ers in so many ways. Again, they struggle with running quarterbacks. It's been a theme for years, hasn't changed. And the turnovers were just killer. So let's go through it systematically. But the locksmith, by the way, is not on this podcast. He's been punished uh, for being wrong. His name has been taken away. He's back to being Tech Bro. He'll be back next week as Tech Bro, not the locksmith. He's got to come up with a new lock to get that name back. But let's start with offense. Did this game make Brock Purdy no longer the MVP of the league? Unfortunately, I think yes. I think the most interesting thing about Brock is that the national media, the pundits everywhere use one bad game to prove that he's a bad quarterback. But when he has a great game, for some reason, that doesn't prove that he's a great quarterback. People just constantly are looking to bring him down. And as a result, I think Brock is no longer going to win the MVP, even though he's been awesome most of the season. Lamar has also been great. I think after this head-to-head matchup, Lamar will be the MVP of the league. But what this game does prove to me is that Brock Purdy is the 49ers' most valuable player. Like I've been arguing over Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey had 20 touches, tons of yards, had a great game. Probably should have gotten more running touches. We'll get into that with the coaching. But Christian can have a great game, but if your quarterback doesn't play well, you have no chance, really. And in the games the Niners have lost, Brock just hasn't played as well. And McCaffrey still plays well. So, in my view, this game validates my belief that Brock Purdy is more important to the 49ers' success than Christian McCaffrey. Let's put it another way. If you had to play without one of the players, Brock or Christian McCaffrey, in a playoff game, who would you rather play with? I mean, play without. I would rather play without McCaffrey. Shanahan has proven that he can scheme up the running game, get people yards. Mason's good. Mitchell's pretty good when he's healthy, which is never. But I think the team would function okay. It wouldn't be as dynamic. But if Brock is benched, if Brock is out and Darnold has to play, I think the Niners would be a disaster. So I think this game just proved that Brock is the most important player on the team, and he had a bad game. Someone can have a great season and a bad game. Quarterbacks throw interceptions. Let's look at the interceptions. The first one was real bad. He was late on the read. They're trying to fit it into Debo. Hamilton was there. Bad interception. The one when he was scrambling, doing YOLO to Kittle, bounced off Kittle, bounced in the arms of Ravens, bad interception. The other ones, deflections happen. Most of the time they hit the ground. This game, they just happen to go right to the Ravens players. The one on the little quick screen out to he was passing to Debo that was tipped and intercepted. That's a tough one. And then the other one, he was hit, balls tipped behind McCaffrey, another tough interception. So looking back, Brock, I think, had some awesome throws in the game, also some terrible decisions. Kind of looked like Iowa State Brock Purdy a little bit, a little erratic. But he also did have some great throws. So I have not lost faith in Brock. I know the national media is using this game to prove their point that Brock sucks, even though he's been elite most of the year. But to me, I'm not worried about Brock. I don't think his confidence is shaken. I think he's going to keep slinging it. I think Brock is still going to be great. I think the offense as a whole moved the ball um, really well against the Ravens defense. The turnovers just killed them. Even if they had three turnovers, I think they had a chance to win the game. The four interceptions, though, is really tough to overcome for any team, even one as good as the 49ers. McCaffrey, like I said, had a great game on the ground, also caught a bunch of passes. Ayuk didn't catch as much, but Kittle was dominant, especially that first drive. Whew, I thought he was going to get 200 yards or something in this game, but he's close to 1,000 yards receiving on the year. I believe he's only 9 yards away. Kittle's been awesome. They're using him more as a pass catcher. I think the main area of concern on the offense is what I've been saying the whole time. The offensive line is trash, especially the right side of the offensive line. McKivitz is a turnstile. He just, I don't know, is it even Is it even like having an offensive tackle? I have no idea. People just beat him immediately. Burford's terrible. Feliciano is better than Burford, but also not elite. He's better than Burford though. But when Burford and McKivitz are playing on the right side of the line, it's toast. The Niners have to invest in their offensive line more. I know Trent Williams, he had a little bit of a groin injury. It looks like he's going to play this week, which is amazing news if Trent's out. I mean, I think Jalen Moore also has a concussion, so I don't even know who'd be playing tackle. It'd be a disaster. Colton McKivitz was left tackle. Whew. But the offensive line, the Niners have to use their high picks this year for an offensive lineman or trade for an established offensive lineman, something. But the offensive line is going to be the thing that holds back the 49ers. And I'm really worried about that. Also could get Brock hurt. Yeah, not great. Let's go to special teams. Horrible game. Mitch had the punt, big return, and then the unnecessary roughness penalty, tackling the guy out of the bounds, just bad all around. Um, Ronnie Bell, the free kick after that crazy safety where Lamar tripped over the ref. He fumbled that out of bounds. Like I said, Ronnie Bell's terrible at returning punts. They should just put nobody back there. Kyle didn't listen to me. Kyle, I'm still available. I'm free to be your special teams coach. Just hit me up. Hit my Sports Talk with G Twitter account. Comment here on YouTube. I know you're watching this, Kyle. I mean, your special teams is terrible every year. Um, Moody, I guess, has been better. He's making kicks, but they're not pressure kicks. I got to see him make a pressure kick. But man, special teams just continues to be terrible. Let's go to the defense. That was awful. As usual, against mobile quarterbacks, they're terrible. Yes, the Niners defense was put in terrible positions by the offense with the turnovers, but I mean, Lamar just running all over the place. Bosa made some tackles on the run game, but nothing in the pass game. Barely any. I mean, Bosa's been disappointing to me. You know that if you listen to the podcast, he's been disappointing this year. Kinlaw's a big guy, but he cannot defend the run. Um, they obviously miss Armstead tremendously. Hargrave has been a little bit disappointing to me as well. He's get some pressure, but in the run game, not that great either. But Lamar was just able to create, and this has just been the theme for the 49ers dating back forever, it seems like. Running quarterbacks cause the 49ers problems. It's going to cause them problems again in the playoffs if they face Hurts when he's doing what better, or when they play Lamar Jackson, play Josh Allen in the Super Bowl. Any of these guys are going to cause the 49ers problems. The linebackers, Fred Warner had a bad game. I saw him miss a bunch of tackles. Just, I think Steve Wilkes called a bad game. I think just in general, the defense was bad. And I know, again, they were limited because the offense was turning the ball over and not keeping time of possession, but there was no resistance until the end of the game when kind of the Ravens were kind of just cruise control. Zero resistance. The Ravens scored, I don't remember, 8 straight drives or something like that. It was just bad defense, bad play calling, bad playing, bad tackling. Just everything was bad about the defense. So let's get into the coaching next. Pat, let me tell you this again. Why didn't you run the ball more? I feel like Kyle loves running the ball, but then in big moments, big games, he just decides, eh, let's pass. I think he came out wanting to prove Brock was the MVP of the league. And Brock made some good passes initially, but when you're in near the red zone, just give the ball to McCaffrey. I mean, give him some touches in the run game on that first drive. I don't understand. I mean, yeah, he got 20 total touches, but I think it was 14 runs. I mean, that's not enough for McCaffrey in a game where Brock was really struggling and turning the ball over. Give it to McCaffrey. That's the reason you have him, right? Give your bell cow running back the ball more. I mean, Kyle, you're overthinking it sometimes. Just again, drop me a comment on YouTube saying you want to meet up, get some offensive play calling tips. But here's my tip: give it to McCaffrey a little bit more in a game where Brock is struggling. You know how much I love Brock, but McCaffrey is elite, and give him the ball on that first drive. It makes no sense. And then after that first few interceptions, that the fact that he didn't go to the running game to control the clock more, I mean, it made no sense. So Kyle, I'm giving you a D for that game. A D. That was a bad coach game by you, Kyle. Let's go to Steve Wilkes. That was a D. Great. I'm not in the mood to give Fs. It's the holiday season. D grade for Steve Wilkes. He's been better, but I mean, I still don't. He's not D'Amico Ryans to me. He has a lot of flaws as a play caller. I also don't. I just don't think sometimes he's putting his players in position to succeed. I've watched the defense struggle more this year than any of the past years. It may be a factor of Bosa just being not nearly as good as usual. I don't care what the pressure numbers say. I watch the games. He's just not as dominant as usual. And I get Armstead was out, but boy, Wilkes, come on. And you already know my special teams grade. F, always. The grade for the 49ers special team is an F. Am I concerned after this game? A little bit. I am concerned because this is just another theme. They struggle against running quarterbacks. The thing that gives me some hope is that if the ball bounced differently, a few of those interceptions, Niners probably would have won that game still. That's how good and talented they are. Their offense can be, they move the ball really well. They just turned it over. So I'm a little bit concerned because, like I said, in the Super Bowl, you're probably going to play a mobile quarterback, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar. I mean Flacco, I guess, but I have haunts of Flacco. Um, and then in the NFC, to get to the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts is going to play better than he did last time. There's no doubt about it. I think he'll move around more. Um, so they're going to have to figure out something with the mobile quarterback defense. Yeah, so that was a tough watch. I know people wanted my immediate reactions. Sorry, sick, still feeling not great, but I'm here for the people, here to contribute my amazing content to you all. It was a rough game, no doubt about it. Not the best way to spend Christmas watching your team get destroyed. But New Year's is coming up. We got the football team. I think Jacoby Brissett was supposed to play, but now he's questionable. So Sam Howell might be playing. I want to play Sam Howell. I think we'll dominate Sam Howell. Couple concerns going into this game against the football team. How does Brock respond? I think Brock is going to respond with elite play. I think he's going to. I don't think these interceptions are going to go to his head. I know a lot of people are concerned that the interceptions are going to spook him. He's not going to throw to tight windows. I don't think so. I think he's a gunslinger mentality. I don't think this phases him. I think he's gonna come out and just play great. Question marks, Jair Brown with a knee sprain, I believe. If he can't go, it's Logan Ryan. That's their third safety. Jair Brown's been pretty good. I'd be concerned there on the back end, but again, if you're playing the football team, it doesn't really matter. They suck. Armstead status, I don't think he's going to play. I think he's going to wait for the playoffs. Offensive line status, I think Trent Williams is supposed to play, but Jalen Moore's hurt. I mean, the offensive line is just, don't get me started on the offensive line again. They need to invest more in the offensive line. But yeah, I think the Niners have a chance to get four 1,000-yard players. Debo, I think will get there. Ayuk's already there. McCaffrey's over 1,000 yards running. Maybe 2,000. Maybe he'll get 2,000 total yards. I don't know. And Kittle's only 9 yards away from 1,000-yard season. I think that'd be awesome. First time in a long time that's happened for the 49ers. And yeah, I think the Niners, my lock of the week is the Niners are going to destroy the football team by, I don't know, 10 or more points. And I'll be back with the formerly known locksmith, aka now Tech Bro again, next week as we respond and react to the 49ers versus the football team game. And then we're also going to try to get into more NBA talk. NBA season's been really fun this year in a lot of ways. Some cool storylines, also some things the NBA needs to work on, including players resting all the time, which is super frustrating. So with that, I hope everybody had a great Christmas coming up, great New Year's. Hope you're doing better than me. Like I said, this is me coming off the injured reserve due to the popular demands. I couldn't let this game slide without me coming in hot with my takes on the game. But we'll be back next week with more. Thanks.